All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. Let's get started with this information. Listen, I gotta get this other stuff together here. Let me turn this one down some so we can get this information going to you guys. Hopefully, you can hear me okay. Hey, I'm Regina with the Juice Radio and Talk Show. Let's get into this conversation that's going on today. Let me go ahead and get rid of this music right now because I want you guys to be able to hear me clearly. Hey, Instagram, how y'all doing over there? We got something we have got to chit chat about. A lot of information we've got to talk about. Hubby is with me today, joining me because the team they're working today. They got busy schedules, but I wanted to come on here live and share some information about this video that's going around with Jalen Rose. Hubby's on the side here, so if you see me looking to the side, that's where I'm looking at. All right. Jalen Rose has a situation that has come up, and most of you, if you don't know who Jalen Rose is, he is a sports announcer now. He did some athletic stuff. I have to ask my husband because I'm not into the athletics part. He's a basketball player, was a basketball player, and there's this video that came up. Now, let me give you a little bit of background on this. Jalen Rose, who has gone through a lot in his life from what I'm looking at. There's been a lot that's gone on in his life. Well, recently his sister, her name is Tamara Rose, has posted a video that has gone viral. It's all over the place and it has to do with her going on an angry rant to her brother Jalen Rose, who's actually in her presence when she's doing this, because she's upset that Jalen Rose is selling the home that she lived in with their mother and grandmother. Now, the mother and grandmother have both unfortunately passed away, um, and the sister was still in the home. And Jalen decided to sell the home because Jalen purchased the home for his mother. The sister, from the stories that I'm reading, sources are saying that the sister moved in about 3 years ago to help take care of the mother and the grandmother. And I'm gonna play the video so you can see for yourself, and then we're gonna have the discussion because this is a lot, you guys. This is a lot. All right, so let me go ahead and get this video queued up here, and we're gonna go from there, y'all. All right, let's go ahead and we're gonna play this. This is a lot.
Getting my summer stuff ready and trying to continue to be healthy, but then I got to keep dealing with this idiot and this foolishness. Do not go in my mother's room. Do not go in my mother's room. Do not go in my mother's room. Do not go in there. Don't go in my mother's room. Do not go in my mother's room. My mother just died last year, okay? And you bringing strangers all in here, Jalen Rose, to walk to your mother's house that you love so much, that you trying to sell her house a year after she passed while your sister's still living here in it. And you had the audacity to call me a squatter when I took care of our mother and our grandmother in this house. You got a lot of nerve, Jalen Rose. You got a lot of nerve. And I hope the whole world see how much nerve you got now and how fake and phony you been talking about how much love you got to your mother and your family. Mighty funny. The man with the mic ain't got nothing to say today. Ain't that strange? Ain't that strange? How you gonna sell a house somebody live in and been living in for the last 3 years and not communicate? This what this guy is on. Clothes and getting my summer stuff.
All right, let's chit chat. All right, there's a couple of things that I wanted to point out here. As you guys know, my husband and I do real estate. My husband is a real estate broker, and I actually work with investors, helping them form corporations and LLCs here in the States so that they can also become business owners and investors here. So we deal with this situation when it comes to the real estate part. Before I get into that, this video was a lot. I mean, babe, this video was an awful lot. I really have to give really claps and applause to Jalen for the way he held his composure. I mean, the way he held his composure was to be admired. He did not engage in the argument with her. He did not get into the combative confrontation with her. He kept his composure, and I really do have to say I'm so excited that he did that, because this was really a lot that happened in this video. I do have sympathy and I feel for the sister in this situation, but as I dug into this story, I pulled up a lot of information. Let's start with, there are some people, and there's, when I looked at some of the chats, and there's some people who are on Jalen's side, say, yeah, you're right, it's your house, you don't have to let her stay in there. And there's some people that are on the sister's side saying, well, he shouldn't do that, he should let you stay there in the house, so forth, he can't kick you out, and so forth. Let's talk about the real estate side first. And this I want to speak about because a lot of people think that they're entitled to remain in a property simply because they're in the property, and that's not true. That's not true. Jalen Rose, from I'm understanding, Jalen Rose purchased this home for his mother, and the grandmother, and was there, and he purchased it for the mother. And when the grandmother passed away, of course, the mother stayed in the home, and then the sister also moved in to help out, she says. The sad part of this is, I look back on the sister's Instagram page, Twitter page and Facebook page, and it looks like to me that they were on good terms. They were on good terms before. I don't know what happened so far. I don't know what transpired, because it does say that in the information that I found, that even on her page, I'm gonna see if I can bring this up. Even on her Facebook page, she was like, I really love my family, and this was posted on her page in February of this year. So something happened between the time the mother passed away, and the mother passed away in February of 2021. And so the sister had been living there for a year, right? Over a year. So what happened between February 2021, when the mother passed away, and even February of this year, because she wrote on her page that she loves her family, and she has a picture there of Jalen. She has a picture with Jalen. So what happened? Right? What transpired? Let's talk about this legal side first. She legally does not have a right to stay in the home, especially because she said this word in her post. She said this one word. She said Jalen referred to her as a squatter. Now, that's going to be the thing that's really going to hurt her, when you look at this whole situation with her saying that she has a right to stay in the house. Squatters don't have a right to stay in the house unless they fall under certain terms, and there are certain legal terms, and I'm not going to go through that whole thing because most people really don't understand all the background of that. But by her saying she's a squatter, she's also saying that she really has no legal rights to be in the property. Okay, simply by her saying that's what he called her, a squatter. Now, she didn't confirm that she is a squatter, but she used that word. And I don't know if Jalen was being really like maneuvering as to why he said that word, especially because I think the lady that's in the video looks like it's maybe possibly a real estate agent that's there with him. But that's a lot. That's a lot. Well, she's upset. And I think here's the thing. I was talking with my husband about this whole case, this whole situation. Here's the thing. I think if this sister would have gone online and been like, hey, everybody help me. My brother's trying to kick me out of our parents' home. I don't want to leave my parents' home. Our mom's home. I love my mom. This home has sentimental values to me. My brother's not listening to me. And she could have had all this on video. My brother's not listening to me. I need someone to help me get through to my brother, to let him know, please don't kick me out of this home. It's too sentimental for me. My mom used to sleep in that bedroom right there. I think if she would have came across something like that, pleading for Jalen to listen to her in a nice, calming way, I think even if Jalen would not have listened, because something transpired between the time the mother passed away and the date this video was posted, something major transpired. So I think if she would have come across a little softer, a little more caring, a little more loving, a little more passionate in a loving way, even if Jalen Rose would have still ignored her pleas, social media probably would have picked it up. What do you think, babe? Social media probably would have been like, what's your GoFundMe page? What's your Cash App? What's this? I think social media would have reached out and helped her financially so that she could either buy the home from Jalen, get enough money to buy her own home, something. But she used the video in a tactical way to attack Jalen. And because of her tactic, it's backfiring. She wanted to use the video, and I'm alleging that she wanted to use the video to try and shame Jalen, to try and make Jalen look bad, to try and get people to be on her side. But unfortunately, it's backfiring on her and it's making her look bad. It's making people look at her in a negative way. And it's making people understand and say, well, Jalen, you're right for not letting her stay there. You're right for kicking her out. I wouldn't give her anything either. She used this whole scenario in a way that's now backfiring on her. And that's the sad part. This could have been a win for her if she would have done this in a winning manner, to say, listen, social media, I need some help. I'm about to be homeless. I don't have nowhere to go. But I love my mom. I miss my mom. I want to stay in the home where my mom and I were. I think if she would have done something like that, it would have been better. Now we have to understand also there's a lot of people out here being angry at Tamara Rose for what she did, and rightfully so in some cases, because Tamara really lost her control. She lost control of this situation, and we don't know what's been going on with Tamara this whole time. We don't know what's happened between the time that the mother passed away, even before the mother passed away. She said in the video that he had not been communicating with them for what, 3 years. She said, there was no communication for 3 years, and she's alleging that, he's fake, and she's alleging that he really does not love the family like he says he does. Where everything that I've seen with Jalen and everything is posted as seen, he loved his mother. And so there's something that we're all maybe missing. But it's still, even if we say Tamara was at the point where she was so frustrated and angry and mad to that point, she didn't have to take it there. She could have easily found a way to done something a little better. A little better, and got the public to be on her side. The public would have came up. There are millions and millions of people, I believe, that are seeing this video. And I believe if she would have played her cards right, she could have had money in the bank. Somebody's GoFundMe page would have went up or something. Tammy's in the chat. Hey, Tammy, how you doing? If you like to be in the chat, go ahead and drop a comment so we can read it and let's share this conversation. If you're over there on my Instagram page, jump on over there to my YouTube page at the Juice Radio and Talk Show, and let's get the conversation going. So Tammy says, hey, Regina, this is his home. Is that correct? Yes, it's the home he purchased for his mother. Now, I have not found out the legal aspects of, did he put it in his mother's name or was it in his name? I haven't found out that part yet. We do know that he purchased the home for his mother. As far as the legal aspects of whose name it's in, I don't know. Now, let's talk about that a little bit. Because if Jalen Rose purchased a home in his mother's name, then he would have to have a will that would state that he is the beneficiary of the property once she passed away. Because if he did not have a legal will, if the home was in the mother's name, if he did not have a legal will that says he was the sole beneficiary of that property, then if the mother passed away, then guess what? That home would now go to all of her children. And it would have to be equally shared with all the children. And my records show that Jalen has other siblings. He has Tamara, the sister that posted a video. He also has another. He also has another brother. He has two brothers, Kevin Rose and Bill Rose. And Bill Rose, unfortunately, sadly to say, his brother Bill Rose passed away in February of 2020. His brother Bill Rose, which was his older brother, passed away. And there's also someone that Wikipedia is stating by the name of Jamisa Walker Thompson, and I'm thinking that that's his sister. So I just found that on Wikipedia, so I'm not sure about that. But I do know that Kevin Rose and Bill Rose are his siblings, along with Tamara Rose. Now, this appears to seem like to me that Jalen purchased a home for his mother and possibly kept the home in his name. That's what it sounds like to me, that he kept the home in his name and allowed his mother to live there as long as she wanted. Now, I don't know if they had a legal term that they used to do that or just a family term. Hey, mama, you can stay here as long as you want, no problem. Because let me give you some knowledge. There is a legal term that people can use to allow their family members to stay in a property which they have their name on. So, for instance, if I own a property and I have my name on that property, I can say I will allow my brother to live in that property as long as he wants, but I have a legal document that says that. That legal document is called a life estate. It lets you know that you have a life estate in this property to stay here as long as you're alive. You can stay in this property. In this property, once you pass away, then that property you have to, of course, no one else can take over and stay there. I don't know the situation how Jalen had this, but seeing that he's in there with we're thinking allegedly a real estate agent, I'm sure if this lady that's there with him was really a real estate agent, that she's done her due diligence to see who owns the title of this property. I'm sure she has checked the court records, the documents to see who is the owner. And so, since Jalen is in there walking around with her, and the sister is saying that Jalen is going to sell the property with her in there, if the property is in Jalen's name, he has every legal right to do that. Now, the sister said also, how can you sell a property with somebody living in here? You can. The property does not have to be vacant for an owner to sell that property. Okay? There are buyers that do this all the time. They will buy a property with people in there, and then they go through the legal system to get them evicted or removed from the property. So, Tammy, to your question again, this is a home that is his. Yes, it was in his name. His name is on the mortgage. Now, Tammy, I don't know if there is a mortgage. I mean, it's Jalen Rose. If there was a mortgage, oh my, okay. But if there was a mortgage and if his name is on the mortgage, yes, he is still the legal owner of the property. And if there is a mortgage on this home, Jalen is responsible to pay that mortgage. Now, let's say, like Tammy said, if there was a mortgage or if there is a mortgage on this property. If there's a mortgage on this property and Jalen is the one that's responsible for this mortgage, if his sister or Jalen, if neither party are paying this mortgage, then guess what? The default will lie on Jalen's name and Jalen's credit. And if that property, the mortgage does not get paid on that property and that mortgage goes in default, then what will happen is Jalen's credit will be affected negatively by that. And the mortgage company could end up foreclosing on that home and taking that property back from Jalen. Now, let's say this, if the sister knows that there's a mortgage, let's say if there is a mortgage on the home, and Jalen probably said, listen, there's a mortgage on here. I don't want to handle this mortgage anymore. Do you want to pay this mortgage? Why not the sister take over the mortgage? If the sister was not financially able to take over the mortgage and Jalen refused to pay the mortgage or continue to pay the mortgage, then unfortunately, this home would have to be sold, because if neither party wants to sell, wants to pay the mortgage, the property would have to then be sold so that the bank does not foreclose and take the property back. So Tammy's next part of that question is, was she helping to pay for the upkeep or just staying in the house? Now, I have been reading several different stories, and I'm not sure if any of them are true. So I'm just going to say alleged with all of this. I'm not sure, and I probably am going to say that the sister was probably allegedly not paying anything for the home. And if she was, it's still titled or owned by Jalen. So even if the sister said, I pay for the lawn maintenance, I pay the utilities, I pay when something breaks in here, I pay, when if there's a fine on the house from the county, I pay everything that happens in here. Even if she says she paid everything, even if she says she pays the mortgage, guess what? If Jalen is the owner of that home, it doesn't matter what the sister is paying. He could still sell that property even if she's still in the property. There's legal stuff that she has to take into account. So Tammy's next question is, that's right, there's probably not a mortgage, but his name is on the deed more than likely. Of course, his name is probably more than likely on the deed unless they had it in the mother's name, and then the mother had a will which stated that Jalen would be the heir or beneficiary of that property. Okay. So Tammy says, yeah, I get it now. We just went through it, all this drama. Absolutely. Yes, I do. We just went through all of this. And I get it. And here's why it is so very important for family members to have conversations like what's going to happen with the house, what's going to happen with the belongings, what's going to happen with this, whatever, prior to your family member passing away. They're tough conversations that are for people to have, but they have to have. The conversations need to be had. All right. So let's just say Jalen again has the right to sell this property. Can he sell it with his sister in the home? Yes, he can. Now, that's going to take a buyer who's willing to put up with knowing that the sister is in the home. And if they want to go ahead with purchasing the home while the sister is still there, they can do that. The sister cannot stop the sale of the home. She could probably try to hinder it by potential buyers coming to look at the home and she's not letting them in, she's not giving them access, or she's saying that there's negative things about the home, anything like that. She could probably say and do all of that. But if a buyer really wants to still purchase a property, they don't need to have a conversation with the occupant. All they need to do is have a conversation with the owner. And in this case, it appears that that's Jalen Rose. All right. So we have a next comment here. Shamika, okay, I hope I'm saying your name right. She says, no realtor is going to come in any home unless she's seen documents stating she can sell the home. Absolutely right, Shamika. They're not even going to fill out the listing agreement to list that property until they have determined that that individual that's in front of them is actually the real owner of that property. So she also says in the comments, why would she lose money selling a celebrity home and her reputation? Okay, why would she lose money? She's Listen. Any agent is going to pick that property up and probably put it on their listing. Okay, probably any agent is going to pick that up and put it on their listing. I'm not sure if it has sold already or not, but right now I think that's a hot property. A lot of people are probably like it's probably not, but if it has not sold already, let's talk about this for a little bit. I want to talk on both sides of this. I want to talk about the sister Tamara and her being angry. We have to also have some sympathy for Tamara and understand that she's probably still going through the grieving process of her mother having passed away. Now, remember, like she said, she's been the one that's been there with the mother. And we understand that Jalen has a busy career that he does. It's not to say that he didn't care for his mother. So I understand why people would feel, that way at all. I'm sure he obviously really loved and cared for his mother, but physically he was not probably able to be there on a daily basis like the sister. And it's sad that these two cannot come together. Tamara and her brother Jalen can't come together and simply say, this is a home our mom used to live in. Let's work this situation out amongst the two of us. It's sad. I'm not sure what's going on, but I can tell you this: the attitude of what I saw with Tamara probably plays a lot in Jalen's decision to possibly sell the home. That's just my thought on what I feel probably took place. And again, back to Tamara, she was probably grieving. She was probably still going through a lot. She probably, if she was there every day, I'm not sure if she was working. I don't know if she had a job, because to be able to be a caregiver for someone, most likely you're going to have to give up any jobs that you would be able to take, especially outside the home. You may be able to work inside the home at a home office or something like that. But I'm not sure if she was working or had the financial means to maintain the home. It appears because Jalen, I'm not sure if she offered to buy the home from Jalen, but it appears that that can't happen, because if she was so anxious about keeping the home, then she probably would have said, "Let me buy the home from you." But it appears that maybe she's not able to do that financially, and again, it's just very sad that they can't work out to keep the home in the family. And I understand financially with a lot of us, common folks, I'll say, that are not celebrities, it's hard for a lot of us to maintain these homes when they do have mortgages on them, like Tammy said in the comments. It's hard for us to maintain the homes. So we end up having to sell the home. And again, if there's not a will in place dedicating that property to one individual, then that home would be split up amongst the siblings. So, but this is a case where this is Jalen Rose and this is a celebrity. So I have to question if there was a mortgage on there. I'm thinking there's way more to this whole case than what we're seeing. Um, so we've got Mimi Twin is in the comments. Hey Mimi, how you doing? Thank you for being here today. Mimi says the grandmother passed 2019, and the mother 6 months later. She's been living free since. I'm not sure of the timelines of when they passed, but if you say that's when they passed, I believe the mother passed in February of 2021. I believe that's what it was. But she has been living there, um, possibly rent free, and I believe that that played a part in it. That Jalen was listening, like he's like, you forget it. I'm gonna sell this property. I'm gonna get rid of it. And you have to think about it. I don't know Jalen's financial status, but I would just gather to think that he probably had enough money to not have a mortgage on the home and could probably have afforded to allow the sister to stay there. But how many of you would let your sibling stay there with the attitude that she gave Jalen? I'm not sure many people would do that. But again, Tamara is probably still grieving during this whole process. It's probably been tough for her. It's probably hitting her that she has to move out. She probably has an attachment. She probably doesn't want to leave the property. Some people are saying that she's trying to take advantage of the situation. And it's a possibility that she is trying to take advantage of the whole situation by staying there and not paying anything. And, it's sad to say, but unfortunately, she is going to have to move out. I was listening to Ricky Smiley's topic on this same story, and his take on this was a lot of people who have siblings who are celebrities kind of feel as though they're entitled to part of the money from these celebrities. They feel like, my brother's a celebrity, my sister's a celebrity, and they should give me money or buy things for me or so forth. And Ricky Smiley was basically, saying basically, that's their money, that's their fame, it's not yours, So I don't know if this is a way that Tamara was feeling. I'm not sure, but it's kind of giving those kind of vibes that she feels kind of that way. So we all view this different. My heart really does go out to her. And if they haven't sold the home already, I'm going to dig a little deeper and see if I can find out if they actually sold the property. But if they have not sold the property, I would hope that her and Jalen can come to some sort of agreement that they can work out for her to stay there. And if they have sold the property, if Jalen has already sold the property and she's in need of staying somewhere, because she did say she's going to be homeless. She said in the video she'll be homeless. If she needs somewhere to stay, maybe she and Jalen can get together and he can assist her with finding somewhere to stay. Because let me tell you, being told that you're going to have to leave, you have no idea where you're going, you probably don't have the financial resources to really afford what's out there now. If she's been staying with the mom for 3 years and didn't have any bills to pay, and now all of a sudden you have to come up and start paying bills, it could be tough and scary all at the same time. However, you can get through and you can do it because you're not the only one who's going through this, Tamara. There's a lot of people who are going through worse than this, and they came up and they are making it work. I understand that you might be worried right now, but the attitude is the part that's not going to help you get the help that you need. I think if Tamara would just go on and just give a good apology right now and say, hey, I'm sorry, I was frustrated, it caught me off guard. I really need some help. Can somebody help me out here? Can many of you who are out here that saw this video help me? Maybe that will trigger some people to maybe give her some financial assistance. But that attitude, that was hot right there. So Tammy said that's some truth there. The entitlement stuff is insane. It absolutely, absolutely is. I wanted to bring up some of these things about Jalen. Now, if some of you are saying, well, what's going on with Jalen right now during this whole situation? Well, Jalen is back to work. Jalen Jalen is back to work. Jalen is like, forget it. I'm going to work. He's not, I haven't heard him say or comment anything on this. Jalen is back to work. He is, I looked at it today on, I think it's Jalen. Yeah, Jalen and Jacoby. Here he is right here. Jalen is working. Look at that. He's smiling. He's happy. Jalen is like, cool beans, let's get this stuff going. He's like, okay, I'm fine. I'm going right back to work. He does not look like he's stressing over the whole thing, but that's probably his camera face because we have to go back and look at some of the things that has happened to Jalen. Now, remember, I told you guys earlier that his brother, which was his older brother, passed away. Okay. Then he had his grandmother passing away. Then he had to deal with his mother passing away. He dealt with going through a divorce with his wife, a public divorce with his wife. There's a lot that Jalen Rose has been dealing with. And I think maybe he's at the point where he's like, you know what? I'm out here swimming by myself. I kind of feel that way about him, that he's like, I'm just out here by myself. So Mimi Twin says, I wonder, was the sister receiving any income during her stay there? And if so, what she do to prepare? I cannot believe he did not communicate anything to her. I don't think he did not communicate anything with her either. I think you're right, Mimi. I think absolutely that there had to be some sort of communication when it came to this. Now, I'm going to just say this, and this is just my honest opinion. I don't think this happened just recently. This debate, disagreement, separation between Jalen and his sister. I don't think this is something that just happened overnight. I think this is something that may have been going on even before the mother passed away. Okay? This to me sounds very deep. Now again, she posted on her page, or I went to her Facebook page or Twitter page, and she posted things on there saying that she loves her family, and she has a video there with her and Jalen on there, pictures of her and Jalen, and that was of this year, February of this year. So I'm thinking something happened between February and today or yesterday or whenever this happened. But I don't think this is something that just came up. I think this is something that probably has been going on for a while, and Jalen probably just reached his boiling point. And he probably was at the point where I've tried, and that's it. Because think about it. His mother, it says he bought the home for his mother, and he said his mother passed away in February of 2021. Okay? His mother passed away in 2021. If Jalen really had it out for his sister or really wanted to get rid of that property, he could have sold it March of 2021. He could have sold it the following month. But he put on it, and she let us know he's just recently tried to sell this property a year later. So all that time, the sister had been living there. So Jalen could have easily told the sister, I'm selling this property the same month. He could have did the same month that the mother passed away. He probably didn't legally have to wait. So where a lot of people are on social media saying, well, he's kicking his sister out, she have nowhere to go. Think about it. He could have did that 30 days after, or even the same week that his mother passed away. He could have put a for sale sign on that house if the property is in his name. Now, if he had to go through, getting the will and all of that stuff, if he had it in the mother's name, again, I don't know the legalities of that part. But if this home, let's speak for instance, if the home was in his name, if the home is in his name, he could have sold that property the same time his mother passed away, but he waited. And mind you this, if that property is in Jalen's name, he could have sold that property even while his mother was alive. If he wanted to. If he wanted to, he could have sold it at any time. So by him waiting, it lets me know that, like Mimi said in the chat, maybe there was some conversations that was going on with the sister, with and Jalen. Maybe there had to be. Maybe there was some conversations going on because it's now where he's trying to sell this property. Okay, well let's talk about this. Jalen has been going through a lot. You got your brother passed away, your grandmother passed away, and you guys know what? I found a story that is from the Indy Star. I have a story it says from the Indy Star that says that his brother Kevin Rose was married to a lady, and this is from the Indy Star, and it's published December of 2013. That says an arrested fugitive was married to Jalen Rose's brother. And it says here, a woman who eluded Texas authorities for nearly 4 decades and who was arrested this week, this is 2013, in Michigan, is former basketball star Jalen Rose's sister-in-law, end quote. Now, he's having to deal with that, even though it's back, years ago. But, I mean, we got to look at this guy has gone through some stuff. And then we have to deal with, he got married and then got divorced. And then there's rumors that there's some alleged affairs. And for her to say that he does not care for the mother or he does not care for them and so forth, everything that I've seen has shown that Jalen loves his mother. Let me show you this part. It's right here. Look at this picture of Jalen here with his mother. Look at this. This doesn't look like to me that he doesn't care for his mother. Look at this. Does this show a picture, and then I know a lot of people may think, oh, well, it's just for the camera. Listen, I don't think so because I read the stories. I read the story that Jalen spoke about his mother. I read, the articles where Jalen, did interviews and mentioned his mother. I read these things. That sounds to me like a gentleman who loved and adored his mother, especially when you find out that Jalen Rose never met his father. So of course, there's probably going to be an attachment, a strong attachment to his mother. So I don't understand why people would, for the sister to even say that. Now, if she has any truth to it, then that's a family thing that they need to talk about. They need to have that conversation because something is happening. And here's the part. I went on his sister's Twitter page, and all I saw were like biblical quotes and stuff like that, and retweeting of church quotes and stuff like that, and stuff. I mean, just Bible everywhere. And even if you look at that video that I played, she has a cross around her neck. So it makes me think, Tamara, what's happening? I know we all have our breaking points. I know we all go through stuff. But the behavior is not indicative of what you're posting on your page. There's a difference. And I understand she's going through a lot. She may have been in her breaking point. But if you communicated with your brother like that all the time, then I can understand why your brother is distancing himself from you. Even if you're right, Tamara, even if you're right, even if what you're saying is true, your tone and behavior to him, and even like you said, you bringing a stranger in our mother's house, you said all this in front of a stranger to your brother. You said all of this, you acted this way, you filmed your brother in front of a stranger and behaved that way. And You want us, the public, to have empathy and sympathy for you. It's hard for us to do that. I'm finding some grace for you because I understand how it is losing a parent. I understand that, but I also understand to be able to love my family enough to say, you know what? It's not about all the legal documents. It's not about all of that stuff. It's about maintaining the family relationship. And sometimes you have to let go of some of these material things to keep the relationship in a good place. Material things will kill relationships. That's the sad part. You lost your grandmother, Tamara. You lost your mother, lost your brother. Now you're losing your other brother. You got to pull it back together. Y'all got to pull it back together. I don't think that your mother would want you and your brother to be at each other like this in a public way. This is just not right. Even though you feel you need vindication, the way you're going about it, Tamara, is not going to bring an amicable, happy resolution. You've got to get change. And for those of you who are out there who are going through something, similar like this, you got to understand, you got to handle these things a whole lot better. I've gone through some stuff too, but we've got to do better. Let's go ahead and continue to pray for Jalen Rose. Not only pray for Jalen, pray for his sister Tamara Rose. There's just so much that went on with this whole thing. I wanted to bring it to light because of the real estate part of it. I wanted to give you the knowledge of that part. Um, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And I would think that her and Jalen both will now have the thought process of my mother passed away. And in that same thought, they'll have, I fought with my sister to sell the house. And nobody should have to go through that. So I'm praying that they get it together. But for those of you who are out there and you have situations where you have parents that own properties or have real estate, or if you're living in a property that's family owned and the family member passes away, know this: whoever is on title showing as the owner of that property has every right to do with that property what they desire. And if that desire is to sell that property, even though you're in that property, they can still sell that property. They can still sell that property. All right. I hope I helped y'all out, give you some information on here. Baby, had anything you want to add to it? What do you think about Jalen Rose? He's a cool dude. I think he's a cool dude. He's gone through a lot. I mean, my goodness. Read up on him. He's gone through a whole bunch. Praying for Tamara, praying for Jalen Rose. There's so much on here. There's so much information. The video has gone viral. All you have to do is Google now. Jalen Rose sister, and it's gonna pop up. There, there's a whole bunch of stuff out there. However, again, if they have not sold the home already, I pray that they can work something out where they don't have to continue to go through this. But if they have already sold this house, then maybe they can have a family reconciliation somewhat later. And if they don't, I pray that both their futures, are a lot more less eventful than this thing that happened. All right. All right, that's been it for me today. I'm hoping I can have give you guys some information here. I'm getting ready to go and continue to have a good weekend here. If you haven't already done so already, remember I'd like for you to go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. All you have to do is look for the red mug, and you have the right channel, The Juice Radio and Talk Show. And I'm sorry, let me pull this up here because I got this. I want to share with you as well. Noye Podcast Production. For those of you who don't know, we have a podcast channel. It is the Juice Radio and Talk Show Podcast. And our crew, Noye Podcast Production, helps us to get that podcast going. Listen, if you'd like to have your own podcast, all you have to do is call them. or send them some information. All the information is on their website at houseofnoye.com, houseofnoye.com. They'll help you get your podcast up and running too. I also like to also invite you to send us information and check out our other social media sites. We're on all these other social media sites at the Juice Radio and Talk Show. You can also visit our website at thejuiceradio.net. If you put .com, you won't have ours. You have to put in .net. Also, you can go over there and email us if you'd like to have be interviewed on our show, if you have a topic that you'd like us to cover, or if you have questions. You can also email us at the Juice Radio and Talk Show at Gmail. I want to thank our sponsor, Truth and Triumph Ministries, for helping us with this platform. Truth and Triumph Ministries is a ministry that cares about telling people the truth so that they can triumph in life. All right, y'all. Y'all pray for Jalen Rose and his sister. And y'all get out here and understand that, love should abound. But I can understand both sides. But in this case, Jalen Rose has the right to sell that property. And I'm praying that him and his sister work it out. That was hard to watch, that video. All right. I love y'all. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with some more interesting stories and interesting topics. So if you want to make sure you know when we go live, you won't have to click that notification button on YouTube so you know when we go live. All right. Y'all have a great day. Stay blessed out there. Stay safe. And remember to love one another. All these material things can go away and be replaced. But the love and care and the touch of one another is only there as long as that person. All right. Y'all love one another. All right. Bye.